What are you doing? Are you doing some testing? Is that you are? I appreciate it. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Pro Engineering. As you can see, I am in the middle of some stuff, but it could not wait. Let me just move some stuff here. This came in. You might be thinking, you've already reviewed that. That's nothing more than the WPL D12. And that's where you would be wrong. When I saw the early photos of this, I thought the same thing. I'm like, what's the big deal? I already have one. But if you look right there, this is 1/16. And again, you might be saying, well, the WPL D12, like a lot of their products, is 1/16. But that is wrong. This, because the real one is so tiny, the actual full-size version is so small that the other one that WPL came out with is a 1/10 scale truck. So let's, there's a little box thingy here for this. I'm actually going to leave that there, but we have a little peek. Look at a little adorable thing. I can't wait. Well, let's open the box. I know nothing about it. Nothing. Let's take a look and see. Oh my God. Oh, okay, I'm throwing away everything else I own. Look at this. Sorry. Oh my God. I don't care what electronics it has. I don't care. I will make it fully proportional if it isn't. Just look at it. It has articulated rear suspension, not actually, oh no, it does, never mind, I lied. Wow, that's a great idea. It's just a little ball joint right there, so it goes left and right and up and down. And it has front suspension. Look how tiny the little tires are. They are like the D12. They're not actually a volume tire, they're just like a wrap. Oh my God, oh my God. This is the greatest thing. This is the greatest thing. Dang. Is there a battery in here? Okay, we have lots of little lenses. That's great. Which, of course, means, come on, you know what I'm going to do. This is going to be fully lit up. Okay, so the little stickers. Yeah, it's just like the big version. The little battery box, the little wipers, taillights. Wait, I don't see a battery. So on the other one, it's back there. Maybe. Oh, here we go. Ooh, just a 3.7 volt lithium ion. Oh, that's cool. This is a nice place to put it. Obviously, since there's no drive shaft, that's a good way to do it. Here's the little battery charger. I have this exact same plug. Oh, actually, on this battery. What's this little remote? I know I should put all this together, but the first thing I want to see is what we're working with over here. This is tiny. The other remote is tiny for the D12. This is even smaller. Let's see here. Weirdly, yeah, that's just strange. It's smaller, and yet I have difficulty holding it. Like, okay, that's better. It feels like it's like this. It feels like it's gonna fall out of my hand. But cramming it up there, now it feels okay. I wouldn't say the world's the most comfortable thing for an adult, of course. For a kid, this is perfect. Let's put some batteries in it. So on mine, the top screw came out right here, but this bottom one seems to be captured, which is nice so you don't lose it. Let's plug this in. And again, I'm curious exactly how this truck is going to behave. So this is nice. This plugs straight in there. Feels good. Nice click. And then on. Same WPL style headlights, which are great. And they've gone with a nice warm white. The thing didn't make any steering twitches or throttle, so let's... Oh my God, it's actually proportional. The servo feels fantastic. I've got 110 scale cars that don't have servos that feel this nice. Let's see how it moves. This feels good. Oh my God, it really feels refined. How is the electronics so good in this thing? Now, it's really hard to explain how this thing behaves. The best I can say is it feels supple. Is that a weird way to describe it? It doesn't feel cheap. The electronics feel incredibly good. They feel smooth. I would even hesitate to say that they feel better than the stock WPL D12 electronics by far. Those are proportional, but they still feel a little bit stepped. Like instead of left, right, it's more like left, a little bit more left, a little bit more left. It's like maybe 10 places left and right, which is fine. But this does not feel that way. It feels fluid. Probably no diff, no differential. No, that doesn't surprise me. All right, let's investigate this thing a little more. Now, just some clarification on CXD right here. This product here is not by WPL. It is, in fact, by CXD. And you're probably thinking this looks like the WPL D12. And the reason for that is the founder and designer from WPL, Mr. Hong, actually has started a new company, CXD, with a friend of his. And that is where this little guy came from. So just some clarification on there. It looks like a WPL. Not a WPL. And I did want to just look at some of the little bits over here. So we've got that little guard over the rear window, side view mirrors. These little metallic decals are for the side view mirrors. Door handles for the sides, front turn signals, taillights, and side cab markers. This little piece here is for the battery, and I think this would just kind of get stuck on. Yeah, I don't want to install it right now because I want to paint the truck. Wipers, battery, charger, the decals for the truck. That's probably our license plate. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's a little sticker for the battery here to make it look like a battery, and all the other decals. And I don't know if these little guys are here, these little 2020 window stickers. As we have discovered that this is fully proportional, I do have some other information for you. In terms of the appearance, I mean, it obviously looks like the WPL D12. There's no hiding that. Looking carefully at the truck, obviously we know it's fully proportional. It has a ball joint here for the lower control arm. This is like McPherson's strut. I mean, look at this, under full compression, there's very little camber gain. What does happen if we look through the cab is the upper part of the shock does go through the seat. A little weird, not really a deal breaker. My idea is to put a driver here on the driver's side with nothing more than a cutout in the leg so that the spring goes into the body. And on that side, perhaps a box of some sort, so really easily fixed. These are springs here at the front, no shock absorbers at all. There are also no screws holding the tires on. It appears to be a pin right there through the, I guess we'll call that a spindle, maybe a knuckle, and then into the wheel. So I suspect it's held on just as a press fit. The rear, the motor is a 130 size. Sorry for the dust, I've been driving it. So we do have the articulation for the rear axle, which is awesome. And looking right in there, you can see that little slot, because the transaxle will slide like that. So it's very nicely done. This is for decor. And again, the battery is embedded in there. Nice, good size on and off switch right there. The cab and the bed are molded as one piece. Given this little guy's size, I want to see what makes it tick. So let's go ahead and unscrew the body here. It appears that we have 6 screws. Fairly certain we've got the 2 at the rear, these 2, and then these 2 here. So let me go ahead and pull those off. Bit of a strange observation here. These screws are lovely. They're very nice screws. WPL screws, on the other hand, tend to be, let's just pull this guy out here. This would be a WPL screw, and it's just kind of, hey, it works fine, but it just doesn't have the look of this other screw on the D12 Mini. We should be at a point where we can pull the body off. And I'll be careful here because the headlights, okay, there's a headlight right there. It looks like the headlights can be unplugged very easily. The packaging for the electronics is excellent. There's our servo right here. It's mounted reversed. I don't like how that connector is mounted to the board. This is our wire for the headlights. This is our motor wire. This is battery, and this is the servo. Clean little system over here. Here we have a better shot of the suspension. It's got what appears to be a big plastic E-clip, full inner fender wells, which is, again, pretty darn remarkable. I mean, honestly, I see so many uses for this chassis. Got a capacitor here on the motor to help with some of the noise isolation. This really is a nice looking PCB. I wanted to note here that the lower button is a throttle rate adjustment, so we'll try that out. The remote on. No, I haven't touched the radio, so let's go ahead and floor it. Press this button. The WPL D12 has the same feature. And as someone that drives their RC cars very slowly, I kind of like this. Speaking of the big WPL, so here's the little one. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Sorry, I'm holding the big one, and I never would have thought that the big one was big until this one happened. So here's the big one. Now this is insane. Given that I always felt this thing was minuscule. Look at this. It's just ridiculous. I think, will this fit? It might actually fit in the bed. How do we turn it around? There we have it. This is ridiculous. It's insane. It's just insane how small this thing is. Colors are nearly identical. This WPL, just to note, is painted in this color. It is not molded. Actually, it is. It is molded. You can see it here. That's the color it's molded. That's the color it's painted. So this was a post-processing thing. This car is not. That's probably one of the only complaints I have is I really could care less about whatever lame cream this is. I did stripe it a bit, but there you go. That's the size comparison between these two guys. Okay, enough talking. Let's take this for a drive. Where's the truck going? Where's the truck going? Oh, thank you. So given the size of this little guy, we're going to do a lot of indoor driving here just because, why not? Curious if this is going to work. Uh-oh. Aww. It has the power, it just doesn't have the traction. Oh, oh, we did it! It did it! Sweet. Nice. Thank you. Okay, can I have it at some point? Can I have that back at some point? Is that a no? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. walk to the street. It's a bumpy driveway, so let's see how well it does. Okay, so that's full speed right now. Let's do a full speed pass here. And then we'll turn on the higher speed setting on the car. Yeah, on the street it's kind of unhappy. That's full pelt on the street. And pop in second gear. Well, there it goes. It's doing pretty well, I have to admit. Or drop it back down. Hang on. Here's our slower speed. It's pretty remarkable how well it does uneven surfaces, just because the articulated rear suspension as well as the front suspension. There's one heck of a turning radius. It really runs well. And again, it's hard to see this or even understand this on camera, but it doesn't feel as small as it looks. Again, the throttle feel is great. The steering feel is fantastic. Watching it, you can see the little hops it does given the lack of mass, but did you suck on a stick? Stick. Every car's worst enemy. So I drove this through the house for quite a while. My kids absolutely fell in love with this thing. They love the other one too. They really like all the RC cars. But this thing here just has this adorable size thing about it. Speaking of size, I know I just showed the WPL, but let's show you something that's probably a little bit more recognizable, just to give you a comparison here. So here's your Grasshopper, and there's the WPL. It is definitely a tiny little bug. No pun intended there. The question, of course, is, do you want one? This thing had a really strange feel driving it. Now, let me explain that, because strange might sound bad. And that's not the case. It felt strange because it felt huge. Like driving this car, it felt controlled. It felt, and I'm just gonna, while I'm talking here, we're just gonna turn this on a little bit. It just felt refined. I mean, it doesn't give you the feel of something that you can't drive slowly. It doesn't give you the feel of something that's inexpensive, which this very much is. It feels like a big, heavy, quality product, and it is definitely quality. It behaves and feels like a huge car versus what it actually is. And I think that is the combination of the fact that the car does have some articulation, the fact that the servo proportionality here and the throttle are so clean. They did a fantastic job on this car. But the question is, did they do it well enough for you to want one? Should you buy this car? First off, if you have a big D12, then for God's sakes, go buy it now. If you don't have a D12, you don't know what the D12 is, you don't know what WPLs are, you don't even care about smaller 1/16th scale off-road vehicles, the beauty of this is not an off-road vehicle. And I think on the smaller scale stuff, and I like the small stuff, but on a lot of the smaller stuff, people try and make these things behave like, you know, big rock crawlers. And this car doesn't have that problem because you're not going to try and make it crawl rocks. It is definitely big enough to drive on sidewalks, your driveway, but I think it's a little bit happier indoors, which is why I like this so much. I'm always driving something inside the house, and that's a big reason why I like my 1/16 scale cars. If you have been wanting to get something smaller scale, this is definitely your guy. If you've got like a Kyosho Mini Z, now the scales of course are different, but still it'd be kind of cool to have with one of the Mini Zs. In fact, even driving this around a Mini Z track would probably be doable. But I mean, honestly, for the price point of this car at $50, this thing is hard to beat. Now the instructions do say that it's not even intended for a child under 8, which is kind of hard to believe. But I think one of the deciding factors on that is a smaller child might try and launch this off of the steps in front of your house, and something like this simply is not going to survive that. So it's not a car that can be jumped or, you know, repeatedly abused. It's a scale toy. So, you know, keep that in. I'm in love with it. I mean, genuinely, I'm in love with the truck. Even the radio doesn't really bother me, and I think it's really cute. So I do plan on buying a couple more of these chassis, or I should say the whole truck, but I have projects for these chassis. So I'm thrilled, absolutely beyond thrilled with this car. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you will see this truck as well as its big brother on this channel coming up soon. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.